All right, so the last piece of the puzzle here, we are talking about area of triangles. And so one of the things that we know about the area of a triangle is we can find that by taking 1/2 base times height. And that works when we have right triangles. But now we're looking at triangles that are non-right. So how can we get there? Well, we can replace this height with another piece of information. So that height in my triangle, remember that's always perpendicular to your base. So we know that the sine of angle C is going to be that opposite side over the hypotenuse. So if I ignore this part of that triangle, and I say, okay, if I just want to find the sine of C, that's h over a in this triangle. So the sine of C would be h over a. So if I wanted to rewrite that, I could say h is a times the sine of C. Now, why would I do that? Well, that allows me to solve for a non-right triangle without necessarily knowing that height. I don't know the height of a non-right triangle. When I have a right triangle, it's the two legs of that right triangle. So now if I use that, I can plug that a sine C in for my height and get that the area of my triangle can be found by taking 1/2 times the base times side A times the sine of C. So what does that really mean? When I have a side angle side relationship, when I know those three pieces of information, I can find the area of that triangle. Okay, so if I look at number 8, can we get there? Can we get to a place where we have side angle side? I'm going to start with number 9 first because that one is set up for us. We have side angle side, so it's good to go. So for number 9, if I say the area is found by taking 1/2, multiply my two sides together, 11 by 16, times the sine of that included angle, that angle in between my two sides. So multiply all that together, and area should be 85.0 feet squared. And don't forget, our area will always be a unit squared. So now if we look at this one, we want to think about what's the information that I have. Well, I need a side angle side relationship. I've already got a side and an angle here, which means that I want to be able to solve for that side of x, because then I'll have my side angle side. Well, knowing that, I can find this missing angle of 45 and I can solve for x using law of sines because I know an angle and its opposite side and I can use that to solve for x. So the sine of 76 over 7 is going to be equal to the sine of 45 over x. Cross multiply and solve for x, and you should get that x equals 7 sine of 45 over sine of 76. Hey, look, we've got a unit circle value. Yay, sine of 45. All right, and plugging that in your calculator, you get that x is 5.1. So now I know that side angle side relationship. Area would be 1/2 times 5.1 times 7 times the sine of 59 degrees, which gives us 12.6 millimeters squared. Area is always units squared. All right, so what about if I don't have that side angle side relationship? So could I solve for an angle in this using law of cosines? And the answer to that is yes. But there's also another formula that you need to be somewhat familiar with. You'll see this given down the road in some of the applications that you do in classes past this year. And this is an application we can use when we have that side-side-side relationship. And so something we need to know is this is called our semi-perimeter, and that is just 1/2 times the length of all the sides. And we need that to use Heron's formula. So Heron's formula says, hey, I can find the area if I'm given all 3 sides by taking the square root of the semi-perimeter times the semi-perimeter minus each of the side lengths separately. So semi-perimeter minus A, semi-perimeter minus B, and semi-perimeter minus C. So if I look at number 10, I have that side-side-side relationship. So I need to find that semi-perimeter, 1/2 of 18 plus 21 plus 19, which is 29. So that semi-perimeter is 29. Area then is the square root of my semi-perimeter, 29, times 29 minus 18, times 29 minus 21, times 29 minus 19. So I take that semi-perimeter and subtract each of those side lengths, which means I'm taking 29 times 11 times 8 times 10, which gives me 159.8 miles squared. Great job, and we'll see you next class.